Hey, everybody, what is going on? Serial Overdrive here, and today we're going to be playing Decentraland. So, for those of you guys who don't know, Decentraland is a metaverse type, world type game that is all based on mana. Mana is a cryptocurrency that works off the Ethereum blockchain, and now that we've got all that out of the way, what I'm going to be doing in this video is going through Decentraland and showing you this world that is worth billions of dollars, because that's the value of mana. Mana is worth billions of dollars. This is the only world currently that you can use mana in. There aren't any other worlds or any other games that are thinking to use mana at this moment. So right now, when you buy mana, this is what you're investing in. And for all intents and purposes, this is not any sort of investment video. This is just for entertainment purposes only. But I'm going to be going through Decentraland, talking about mana, talking about Decentraland, and talking about what I think about everything. For those of you who don't know, my first Decentraland video was made before this metaverse even existed. It was made about the Decentraland World Builder. When I made that video, you could get 800 mana just for playing with the World Builder. So all my subscribers, they saw how they could get 800 mana completely free. And if you kept that 800 mana, maybe some of you are checking your wallets right now, you'd have a shit ton of money. You'd have about 4,000 USD, because mana is worth roughly $5 a coin, and it's looking like it's going to be going up to 10. But this is all theoretical, and you're going to see this metaverse, and you're going to be able to decide for yourself if this is something that you think is worth billions of dollars. And I'm going to leave it completely up to you. I'll give my commentary here, but it really is up to you. So you can see here, this is like a Halloween world that we've got here. So one of the interesting things about the way that this works is you just, what is this? Oh, this gives us quests. You can just go around Decentraland, and each plot, each little piece of land is something completely different. It's completely up to the user how they want to do it. It's completely up to the owner of the land how they want to design things. So if we go to the map right here, that's not what I meant to do. If we go to the map right here, let's go here. This Explorer, you can go through and see all the different places and all the different events going on in Decentraland. Each of these takes place on a completely different land area. So these are land areas right here. You can click jump in to just jump into them. What is this over here? Builder. So you can jump into the builder now. That's something that's actually new since I last played the game. So you can just go and you can explore different things. You can go to show more. So you can pick whatever looks cool to you and just jump over there. You can also, I'm forgetting how to do it, but you can also pull up a map. You can pick where you want to go specifically. So right here, you can see different events that are going on. So a lot of events, they do give out free things. Most of those things aren't really going to be worth anything. But as you can see, that's actually how I got all the wearables that I've got right here. So this Atari shirt, the Atari hat, everything like that. Oops. Let's get all this out of here. This is a bit annoying, to be honest. It's like too big of a pop-up, in my opinion. Overheard you yesterday, I think. So they're trying to create some stories here, trying to create some games with it. It still needs some work, in my opinion, but you can see the beginning of something. So if we do go over here, we can go over to my profile right here, and you can go into my backpack. And this is where you can customize your character. So you're going to be able to see that some of these tops right here, these are things that I actually just got as free drops in the game. So this is a designer in Decentraland. They were giving these out for free, so I was lucky enough to get this gray one. This is from the Kraken Exchange. You've got Atari, of course. You guys all saw that. Different shoes. I think all these shoes are custom. So this is all stuff you just get by default. Anything up here, this is stuff that you'd either have to pay for or get as a drop. But one of the nice things about just playing this game over time is you do get a lot of collectibles and a lot of drops just for playing the game. So yeah, that's one of the positives about it. But yeah, this is my avatar. Honestly, to me, it doesn't represent the value that some people are spending. There's shirts, there's hats, there's things like that people are literally asking thousands of dollars for in Decentraland. And for that price, I'd expect the graphics to be a little bit better. But hey, maybe I'm just a boomer. So now if we go over here, I think more would be it, right? So if we go over to more, you can see tutorial, hide names, report bugs, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking for the map. It shouldn't be this hard to find, but it actually is. So the way it used to work, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here. The way it used to work, and now I just completely lost the map section of the show taskbar. Oh, there we go. You used to be able to go into the Explorer. You can see trending now. You can see places, but you could also see a map of the world and just pick where you wanted to jump to. I'm not seeing that right now, so let's just jump to some of the more interesting places. So it should show you the things that are really popping off right now. So Wondermine, that's somewhere that you can go to get free things. Ice Poker, this is actually something I've heard a lot about. I'm not going to be playing poker because I'm horrible at it, but let's just go check it out. So one of the big things, or one of the things that you'll hear people always complaining about or saying as a positive, is that Decentraland is it's very focused on gambling at the minute. And I think that there is a place for gambling in any metaverse. I think that's just a part of the world we live in. You go into the real world and you'll see a lot of casinos. It's really great to be able to just hang out with someone and, play some poker or do whatever. But I think that if the world is just about gambling, then it's not worth the money that it's worth. I don't think Mana should represent $1 billion casino, because there are $1 billion casinos. So you can see check in to play. So you can play free. You can get a wearable, get ice wearables. So this is one of the ways that they're actually selling these items. They make it a wearable. You get the wearable. You can go into free to play events, and that's what gives that wearable value. You have that wearable. You can go into the events, and people love that. So right here, you get this ice poker lounge. You can see a lot of people are here playing, and there's probably people. There's some people in the chat. There's people on the mics and everything like that. One thing I will say about this is it does take quite some time for anything to load into the game. So the more characters you get, the longer it does take for anything to load, but it will happen eventually. There's still a lot of stuff that needs to be fleshed out. And right now, again, with Mana or with any sort of decentralized platform, you're not really getting... The money's not centralized. So when something's worth billions of dollars, it doesn't mean that billions of dollars can just flow into this game. There's people like me who hold Mana. There's people that... whales that invest in Mana and all of that. The actual creators of this game are not making any money off the Mana that we hold. They're only making money off the Mana that they hold. So it's sort of hard, right? Like, development is purely on landowners, and it's purely on people like this that are just going out and doing something. And to be honest, this is probably the most advanced thing that exists in Decentraland, in my opinion. You've got a working poker game that you can play here, but we're not going to just focus on gambling. So let's check out some other places. Again, the casinos are actually really good to walk around, but I did say we're not going to focus on gambling. So let's head over to Dragon Rush. See what that's all about. I've never been here, so we're going to be checking that out. But yeah, one of the things I want to talk about is a lot of people have said they don't think Decentraland's worth it. They don't understand the game. And I completely understand where you're coming from. But one of the things you've got to remember about the metaverse and anything like this is... it's all new. It's all fresh. Nobody knows what's going on with it. Now, if you want to talk about early day metaverses, I have played those games. We're talking Second Life. We're talking Entropia Universe. You got a bunch of other games that do fit into that category, but Entropia Universe and Second Life are the two biggest. I'm actually one of the probably the biggest Entropia Universe YouTuber. At one point I sort of stopped playing that too much, but I was one of the biggest Entropia Universe YouTubers on, YouTube. I guess that just goes with the name. But yeah, Entropia Universe, I really loved it, and I feel like Decentraland has that same sort of potential. Entropia Universe is a game that's been around for over a decade, and if they did something like NFTs, if they did anything like NFTs or Decentraland or anything like that, they'd really kill it. But this is sort of the second generation of real cash economy, or like sort of metaverses. In this world, the way it works is everything's decentralized, which means it's harder to code. There's a lot of lag issues and things like that are going on. I don't know 100% if Decentraland is currently decentralized, but that's where they're going. In addition to that, it's all based on a cryptocurrency, which means that once this is released out into the world, it's completely up to the public what they want to do with it. If you're interested in this sort of decentralized ecosystem and everything like that, look into other decentralized platforms and see where they've gone. There's stuff like Steam out there, which is a basically decentralized Reddit. You can look at that and see how that's worked out, how that's played out, and everything like that. One of the things that you've always got to worry about with something like this is it depends who. All right, so I didn't do that right, did I? So this is a dragon game. Let's try and play it, actually. So one of the things you've got to worry about with any sort of decentralized ecosystem is it really depends on who the big holders are. If someone who holds a Mana token, or the biggest holder of Mana token, is interested in a Nazi-themed theme park, you might be out of luck, because that might be what Decentraland turns into. So let's see, walk onto the dragon. So now we can fly with the dragons. This is a very novel game, as you can see. Like, you're just going through the rings. But one of the things to remember with a game like this is if this was not in Decentraland, this would be nothing. Like if this was a browser based game, I don't think I'd be playing it. Like look at this bug right here. My character is like flipping around. There's just when you think about things like this, you've always got to look at it as like, who is your target base? Who's going to be playing this game? Something like this, well, it does look cool. It feels very buggy. This feels like something I'd expect to play in the 90s. This doesn't feel like a fully fleshed out $1 billion product. And it really isn't, because the person who designed this is just someone that's playing around with land areas, playing around with real estate in Decentraland and seeing what they can do. And honestly, it is impressive what they've done with this, because it's not easy to code something into Decentraland. And that's probably one of the bigger risk cases, in my opinion, for this being successful and this being a game or a metaverse that you want to put your time into. It depends on the people who own these lands and what they want to do with it. If people come up with novel concepts like this, then great, maybe something can come of it. But if everybody decides to create art galleries and casinos, it's just going to be a dead world with art galleries and casinos. For instance, like these stages right here, I've seen a ton of them all over the place, and I've seen one or two live events going on here, but I've never really seen a really good use case for it. If I wanted to do a live event, I'd probably do it over Zoom or something like this. In here, it gets awkward, it gets laggy, and it's cool, it's novel, but after the first few events that you do, you're probably not going to be doing any more until things do improve. And again, some of you watching this are probably hating me right now for it, but I'm just trying to give honest opinions here and, give what I think of everything. So let's just run down, because sometimes you can find interesting things here, and things have changed quite a bit, because back when I first started playing, none of this stuff existed because land wasn't really worth anything. So most of the people who had land, they'd put a couple $100 in, and they figured, whatever happens, happens. Now you can see people spend a little bit more time to create things, but is this what do you do with something like this, right? Like this is a cool idea. It's cool that you can ride this float down, but it's sometimes hard for me to see where everything's going. So this is the holy ones. Also, you're blocked off from certain land areas until they load. So let's go in here. This looks like a pretty interesting building. Let's check it out. I think this is going to be a gallery. If it's a gallery, I've just got to have my eyes out, because every now and then I'll go into one of these galleries and there's going to be some NSFW content, which gets me in trouble with the YouTube people. And yes, my channel has gotten strikes before for things like this. I do try my best to be diligent about it. I'm not seeing anything there, so we're just going to head over to the next one. Yeah, see, this is the thing. There's a lot of empty buildings here, and it depends what's going to happen with these buildings. If you ever go to a city and you see all these buildings being built, one of the things you've always got to question is, are these buildings being built or has construction stopped? Because what is this? Democratic People's Republic of Yeet Pay. Okay. So this seems like some advertisement for Yeet Pay. I don't know exactly what that is, but cool. Oh, here you go. So this is a gallery of colors. What do we do with this activation machine? Let's interact with it, maybe. Okay, I can't do anything with it. So this is a perfect example of a lot of what you see in Decentraland. There's a lot of galleries, a lot of different machines that you can interact with, but beyond that and beyond some very basic stuff, you don't really get anything that's in depth. You're not getting RPGs or anything like that. There have been some attempts at RPGs and stuff like that. I just haven't seen anything work. Let's go over here to this rare store. And one thing a lot of people are going to say is a lot of galleries and things like that have opened up in Decentraland. So I think you've got Sotheby's. I think there's been some brands, major brands that have opened up. All the exchanges have land here. There's a lot of big companies that do have land and everything like that in Decentraland. But my big argument to that would be, I'm sure there's a lot of really big companies that had land in Syria. It doesn't mean that Syria is free from civil war. Just because a big company has invested in a space doesn't mean that space is going to succeed. It just means that company has enough money that they can throw it at Decentraland and hope to get something out of it. And in fact, one of the things they get out of this is press. So if you think about it, all these companies, any company, how much do they pay for a Super Bowl ad? I don't know how much it is, but it's a shit ton of money, right? when you think about the cost of a Super Bowl ad and the press it gets them versus buying some sort of crazy crypto thing and the press that gets them, it might literally be worth getting into the cryptocurrency space just for the press. It doesn't mean the space is going to succeed. It doesn't mean it's going to fail, but it doesn't mean it's going to succeed. It just means that that company's getting something out of it. Then maybe they're getting press, and that's it. So again, this would be one of the perfect examples of sometimes how like things go wrong, right? We load into this world. This looks really cool, but we've got to wait for it to load. This is something. If you're my age, you're probably used to this. Like I've played tons of games like this, and I've really enjoyed myself. So this isn't something that turns me off. This is something that just tells me it's a world that hasn't quite reached maturity yet, which could mean it's early days or could mean it's going to completely crash. But it's something that I'm used to, but I think a lot of younger people are going to be really turned off by this because they didn't deal with dial-up internet connections and all of that. So they don't know that sometimes you just need to wait for things to load. I think a lot of the cryptocurrency people are a bit older, so I don't think this is holding anyone back. And what you can see too is, from my experience of just playing with Decentraland over the years, like at this point, I've probably been running around Decentraland for a couple of years now. Unfortunately, I didn't buy a ton of mana, otherwise I'd be retired. But yeah, I've been playing with this game, actually playing the game for a while. And what I will say is, every time I get in, it's gotten better. And that is a really positive sign. I'd love to see that. Like the worlds just get crazier. There's more interesting stuff to do. Oh, here we go. So this is something cool. This is like a concert venue, I think, right? So you've got your VIP areas, you've got your stages, you've got different stages all throughout and everything like this. So this is actually something that's really cool, and this is something that I think you are going to see get more and more popular as time goes on, because what you can do with this is you can host concerts, you can host everything like that. But what you can also do is you see these VIP areas, MetaKey VIP area. For those of you who don't know, MetaKey is actually an NFT. So if you own a MetaKey, you can get access to that MetaKey VIP area. Let's say maybe you own a Bored Ape, which again, I wish I had one of those, but you own a Bored Ape. What that means is maybe Bored Ape has a clubhouse in this game that you can get access to. And maybe during these events, they also have like a VIP area that you can get access to. And if you get access to that VIP area, maybe you can meet the DJs who are playing because they're interested in NFTs or because they have a Bored Ape or whatever it is. And that gives you a nice type of access. And that's something that a lot of people are going to find a lot of value in. And if Decentraland can bring that home, if they can bring that experience home, people are going to go nuts for it. Because honestly, you bring in, so here you go, like Paris Hilton, special guest, right? Paris Hilton comes in. I'm probably not going to go to, I'm not going to buy an NFT. I'm not going to really care if I get to meet Paris Hilton. It would be interesting, I guess, but that's about that. But like if a DJ that I really, it's not that I don't respect Paris Hilton. Don't get me wrong here. If a DJ that I really like, whose music I'm really into comes, it would be awesome to just get that VIP experience to be able to say like, hey, love your stuff. Like if it was Tiesto or Guetta or, you know, Above and Beyond, Armin van Buuren, or even anyone like that, right? Like there's so many I can name. Paris Hilton isn't one of them, but there's so many I can name. I guess this is where she sat, her chair. Should I go sit in Paris Hilton's chair? That's something I can say I did. I don't think I can sit in the chair. So it's not something I can say I did. But you know what I can do? I can stand on Paris Hilton's chair. Or float above it, I guess. Stand. There we go. So this is Serial Overdrive standing on Paris Hilton's chair. But yeah, you know, if a DJ that I really like, really respect comes in, they play a gig, and then they have a VIP area that they go to, sort of like the signing that you do. If I go to a lot of, like, well, I don't anymore, but I used to go to a lot of punk concerts before COVID and everything like that. That was one of the things you could do. You could go meet the band. You could get them to sign the merch that you bought, stuff like that. If they can set something up like that up in the metaverse, I could see a lot of people really going for that, especially if these big NFTs are actually paying big bucks to get these artists in after the attraction, you know, after their main event and everything like that. I could see people really loving that. And also, if you're throwing one of these events and you want someone to DJ, I do know how to DJ. You can get the very own Serial Overdrive. I'll probably do it completely free just for the fun. But no, actually, I might not do it completely free. It depends on the timing. It depends on the timing if I can do a pre-recorded set. Remember that. But Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff that's going on in the metaverse. One thing though you can see is I've been running around here for a while now and we're still having some lag issues. It looks like things just cleared up now, but you saw how long it took for everything to load in. So that is again, for every positive there's a negative. And there are other metaverses coming out. You got Facebook, who they may or may not do anything, but the fact that they renamed their whole company to Meta tells me that something is going to be coming along the line. Are they going to work with Decentraland, or are they going to be competing with them? That's a question that you've got to figure out, because, there's big bucks in knowing that answer. And then you've got stuff like the Sandbox, you've got Illuvium, you've got a ton of other metaverse games that are coming out as well too. So just, keep your eye on everything. Realize that there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of stuff going on, but there's also a lot of really amazing creations coming to Decentraland. One thing that did exist back in the day, I don't think anything ever happened with it, but it would be Chain Breakers, I think it called, or Chain Breakers, I think it was. It was supposed to be this RPG that existed in Decentraland. It took place across this huge land area, and it was really cool. That's one of the things that I thought would really sort of make this place way more successful. It hasn't come to fruition yet. I think development on it did stop, but you've got these people with these ideas of creating RPGs and everything like that in Decentraland. If they can if they can get these loading issues down, a game that you can just go to your browser, you can jump in and get some sort of like basic or even advanced RPG would be amazing. One thing that there has to be is some unity among landholders, or unity among sort of these plot holders. If you can get different RPGs scattered throughout, you can get some sort of conformity, maybe make a cyberpunk city in one area, a fantasy city in another. People can buy into that. They can get apartments. They can create something. They can go through, level up their character, get free gear, get gear that they pay for. They can go through these stories. They can interact with different people, maybe get some really famous artists in these different areas. So maybe like William Gibson or someone, is William Gibson still alive? But someone famous who's done a lot of stuff like that. Get that into that cyberpunk world, right? Like that would be really awesome. Like I'd honestly, I would pay a good bit of money if I could go into Cyberpunk City and reenact Snow Crash, just be that like ninja samurai delivering pizzas. But there's a ton of potential there, and honestly, I really do hope that the metaverse takes off. The only thing I will say about Decentraland is it's still very early days, and that's good because it means you can get in early if that's what you're looking to do. If you want to play this game before anyone else gets their hands on it, if you want to build something before anyone else gets a chance to build something, this is your time to do it. But another thing to remember is early days also means there are going to be failures. With the .com bubble, there's a ton of companies that if you bought them back in the day, you'd be loaded right now. But there's also a ton of companies that if you bought them back in the day, you wouldn't have anything to show for it right now. So it's about making the right decisions, making the right calls, knowing what you're going to be going in on, knowing what you're not going to be going in on, and just experiencing the world that it is, and figuring out if this is a world that you have faith in. That's probably my biggest complaint about a lot of the cryptocurrency community. I see people investing in these coins like Sand or Mana or Illuvium or anything like that, and they don't know anything about the product. They just know about the hype. If you want to buy Mana, if you want to know what Mana is going to do, if it's going to go up or going to go down, my suggestion would be start playing Decentraland, because you can see the game improving and like it's going to go up. If you see the game getting worse, it's probably going to go down. And sure, short term, that might not hold true, but long term, I think it will. And honestly, right now, like there is lag. There's definitely lag. We're not going to be denying that. Right now, I'm stuttering like I'm stuttering like I've got a problem. I'd be seeing a speech therapist if this was real life. But what I'm seeing is really cool. Like this world has a feel that is different from any other world that you can go into. This metaverse has a feel that is very unique to it. If it wasn't lagging, I think this would be a very novel experience. Because the thing with Decentraland is it's not just a game. A lot of this is just a work of art, right? Like you go into these worlds and these worlds are a work of art. And that's something that you don't really see much in virtual worlds. It's very hard to find a virtual world where you can display artwork and actually see works of art that have been created just for the purpose of being a work of art. And I do love the fact that they've got that. Also, like, just to show you what could be done here. So see, like, this screen right here? It doesn't necessarily just have to be showing this. You could put movies on here. You could put some videos on here. You could put this video on here. In fact, if you want to play my video in a loop in Decentraland, you have my complete and utter permission to do it. If you want to download this video and put it up there, you can do that too. I'd recommend using the hosting on YouTube because that's going to make me a little bit, it's going to make your life easier, but it's up to you. I really don't care. People rip my videos off all the time. So like 100%, if you want to do something cool with it like this, go for it. 100% support it. I said it right here, right now. Clip it. It's all yours. You don't need to send me anything, literally. It's not, yeah. But something like this, like you can create movie theaters in Decentraland. Are people going to go see a movie? Maybe. It's a novel experience, and that's something that people do pay money for. There's a lot of experience that I've paid money for just because they're novel, and there's a lot of you that are doing the same thing. Like, you know, there's a lot of things that people pay money for just because they're limited edition. It's the same thing. So just, you know, keep that in mind. Like this is a skate park, and a lot of people would be like, well, why would I care about a skate park because I can't skate in Decentraland? Well, you know, maybe they're going to invent skateboards. I don't know. Maybe there's going to be some skill to it. But even if there's not, it's a really cool idea to have this as a gathering place. It's much better than just a boring old Zoom call or something like this. And think about how things are going to work as this game evolves, as the metaverse evolves, and as these concepts get more solidarity behind them. You're going to be getting way less lag. You're not going to be having an experience like this. There is, from what I've read, there's no plans for a non-browser based Decentraland world, which I think is a huge detractor in my opinion, because part of the issue that you're having right here is because this is being played in the browser. It's the Brave browser, for those of you who don't know. Check it out. It's a cryptocurrency browser. Definitely recommended. But, you know, there's a lot of novel concepts here. There's a lot of really cool things to explore. And it's one of those things, too. If you're at all interested in Decentraland, this is going to be my closing tip here. We're going to go one more place. I'm going to close it out here. Steampunk. Let's jump into that because I like steampunk. If you're at all interested in Decentraland, just jump into the world and see what's there. It's 100% free. You can jump in as a guest. You don't need anything. You literally don't need to create a MetaMask. You don't need to get a crypto wallet. You don't need to get mana. You don't need to bother with gas fees or anything like that. Gas fees are ridiculous, but I believe Decentraland and some places have already moved to the Matic network. So like that casino we were in earlier, I believe that their main casinos are actually on the Matic network. That's Decentral Games. You can play on the Matic network, so you actually don't have to pay transfer fees. So, you know, things are getting better. Once they're getting rid of transfer fees, getting rid of gas fees, that's huge. And that's something that some people in Decentraland have already done. Actually, this is a really cool world. This was a great last world to check out. Like, you can see it's steampunk. Can we talk to this person? See, so here we go. You can talk. Yeah, sure. We'll say we'll help. I'm not going to play through this whole quest, but you can see how this works. You get a POAP or whatever it is. So they give you little tasks. You run through them. You're not really getting anything of value for this, but it's your basic, like, you know, it's your basic quest-driven game. The only problem is there's really no end game here, so that's probably one of the things that a lot of people are dealing with right now. But it's cool what they've done with this. I really do like the steampunk theme of it, and you know, you get similar styles sort of around here. Like here you go, Stickman. So again, this is very interesting too. But the big problem you have is loading all these assets in. I don't know how you're gonna. I don't know how they're gonna tackle that problem, right? Because one of the problems you've got is like you're running around, you're lagging, and part of the reason you're lagging is because you're loading all these resources and as you go. So it's, you know, their servers and my internet. 30 suits for sale, 500 mana. One legendary suit, 500 mana. So they're asking 2K for a legendary suit. So see, prices haven't been adjusted. So that's one of the things that I think needs to happen. But a lot of really interesting concepts here, a lot of really cool stuff coming along, and I look forward to seeing where everything goes. This is definitely an NFT. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, what you think of the metaverse, what you think of Decentraland, and what you think of this video, because I'm really curious. Do you like stuff like this? If you do, I'm definitely going to be doing more mana, more metaverse videos. One thing that I'm definitely going to be doing is the sandbox. So that game just went into alpha recently. So that's one that I'm going to be covering 100% because I love that. Most of my content has nothing to do with cryptocurrency. So if you want to subscribe, you can, but that's your fair warning right there. A lot of you probably won't want to subscribe because of that. But but you can just come back and check on this channel whenever you want and, see if the videos are there. Maybe they'll pop up in your browser. Who knows? But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And let's just go check out this. Here we go. Another gallery. Perfect. Let's go check out this gallery right here. You got some cool paintings here. This lag actually has never been this bad. I think part of it is because of the recent sort of boom that Decentraland's been having. I'm not sure if they're going to be upgrading their servers anytime soon, but I think they definitely need to. But yeah, if you go check some of my previous videos on Decentraland, you'll see it wasn't such a laggy mess that it is right now. But, it takes time. And with any sort of boom in popularity, you're also going to have to expand your servers. And unfortunately, if you're decentralized, you're going to be decentralized. You're probably not basing everything on AWS. So yeah, that's that. And that is Decentraland. If you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, feel free to call them out down below. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, peace.